Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Tina, holistic brain health practitioner at Lifelong Enerjoy. How are you? And I'm here to talk to you about some experiences I've had recently with resilience. The reason why this is so important is because, as you know, we've had a lot of suicides lately in the news. And according to the CDC, in 25 states, the suicide rate has gone up by 30%. That's pretty huge. And that's in the last couple decades. And why are so many people committing suicide these days? I have to say that a lot of it has to do with economic reasons and a loss of our public safety net. But a huge component of it is the inability to be resilient. Yeah, if those people who've had the hardest lives, I'm one of them, yes, had a pretty hard life. Although I'm sure there are a lot of people who've had harder lives than I've had. But I've gotten to learn to adjust and learn to survive in each different situation, and that's helped me develop resilience. But I'm going to tell you a resilience story that's even more striking than that, because recently I've had a really difficult 2017. It's been hell, just to say that lightly. My boyfriend broke up with me in November, and it was just so devastating for me. I was just so crazy about him. And so I started off the year with depression and a lot of despair about the direction my life was going and whether I'd be able to attract somebody like him again. And was really heartbroken over that whole thing and about my dreams and so forth. And so started off with that kind of background of 2017. Still been trying to release stuff for a while with that. There was just too much to release. But other things that happened too. My housemate situation got really difficult, and lost the best housemate I've had in a long time. And another housemate was mentally ill and really disrupted things. I've had this law that's called the GDPR, which affected my business profoundly, and the threats of not complying with the law were beyond my imagination. But basically, they could bankrupt me in forever, And I found out about it really late, as a lot of entrepreneurs have, and it was extremely stressful to just react to it and to comply with those laws. Even though I'm not in the EU, I had to comply with them, and it was extraordinarily stressful and very, very expensive. And that took place during the time that I wanted to go away on vacation, and so I went to a conference and I wanted to take a couple of days off in Sedona, and I was dealing with this GDPR stress the whole time, and so I really couldn't take time off. And on top of that, I'd asked somebody to travel with me who I thought, holistic entrepreneur, how bad could things go? But it ended up being quite an awful experience. So live and learn, right? Other bad things that happened were, another bad thing is that I have to move soon. I love my house and I love where I live, and I'm very concerned about being able to find housing in Seattle. It's very expensive. Rent has doubled in the last 6 years since I've been here, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find something that I like halfway as much as what I'm at, so that meets my needs. So I've got a lot going on. I also had a dear friend that meant a lot to me who's disappeared, and another friend that he's moved across the country, moved across the world, basically, and so correspondence with him is going to be really challenging. And so I started feeling very lonely and isolated as well. So my life was just feeling like it was falling apart in so many different directions. I was very stressed, very overworked, and exhausted, and feeling very lonely and not hopeful about my future at all. And I realized that, my life has been difficult for too much of my life. And I realized, the one common denominator, of course, is me, right? And what's going on. And I realized that I needed to develop more resilience. And luckily, I can use the techniques that I use, and I'm a body code practitioner. I look at use the wisdom of the subconscious to identify underlying causes of what people are struggling with. So I release the underlying emotions, the belief systems, the sabotage, and much, much, much more to just basically until the problem is gone. And so what I did was I released barriers to greater resilience. And amazing things happened. Amazing things happened in 24 to 48 hours. This is often where I see the most powerful effects. But I tell you about my sob story so that I can tell you about the good stuff. So what happened was that all of a sudden I had this I was very pessimistic about my housing search. But what happened was within the 24 to 48 hours, I realized that the rental market is actually a lot better for potential renters than it was a couple of years ago. A couple years ago in Seattle, you could show up to a house and there'd be 20 applicants with an application in hand ready to sign up immediately. It's not like that anymore. There's actually a lot of rentals that are just completely open right now and ready to be occupied. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope that means the rent's going to go down. So anyways, there's more possibility, there's more hope, and that gives me more hope. So I haven't found a place yet, but I'm also early in my search. So I'm hoping that will change. And other things that have happened are that I've had this area of my business that I've been really stuck in. And I found a couple of coaches that are going to really help turn things around for me. I have a lot of faith in that. Another thing that happened is that I made an offer to a new hire, somebody who I can really think will help my business as well. And then old friends that hey Suzanne, how are you doing? Old friends that left my life for usually a girlfriend, or a partner that they're involved with, left my life, have come back and said that they're more available now, and I'm for hanging out. And so that's so much has changed just in that short amount of time. That was 24 to 48 hours of just a complete turnaround. And I noticed that even though when bad experiences happened, and there was something that was really devastating in our family, we actually lost my cousin's son died just recently, and while it's really devastating, and I'm really I'm very, very sad, especially for the family. I didn't know him very well, but I seem to be handling things okay. It's not affecting every aspect of my life, and I'm not adding it to my list as if all bad things happen to me. I'm still able to very much see that life is full of goods and bads and ups and downs. And so my attitude, my perspective on life has changed like 180 degrees just by changing or releasing my barriers to resilience. So I definitely feel a lot stronger. I definitely feel more resilient. And interestingly enough, I'm seeing the things that happen that happened to me in a much more positive light. And that, you have to, if you believe in the law of attraction, which I have to say I didn't until I kept experimenting with it and it keeps working. If you believe in the law of attraction, you attract what you vibrate. And so if I knew that if I was going to be in a negative state, then I was going to keep attracting those negative things. But if I was in a positive state, then the positive things, I would make more room for more positive things to happen. And that certainly has happened in the dating world. I kept attracting depressed people, and now all of a sudden I seem to be attracting people who are much more charged about life. So that seems to be the benefits of releasing barriers to resilience. And if you are inspired by this story, if you think that releasing barriers to resilience is a good idea, and I can't recommend it more highly. I think it can do wonders for depression and help prevent suicide. And so if you believe as strongly as I do that resilience is so important, please share this video. Please share it with your friends and let people know that developing resilience is pretty easy. They just have to make an appointment with me, and we can do it. We can do it in just a few sessions, usually. So depending on the person and what's going on in their lives, but there's so much that we can do to fight depression and suicidal thoughts. I've helped people out of them as well. So we can release those thought patterns and much more. So if you know anybody that needs my services, if you know anybody that wants that really shift at that very fundamental level, please let me know. Let them send them to my website. My website is lifelongenerjoy.com. That's ENERJOY.com. Let them know I offer a complimentary consultation. My phone number is 1-855-ENERJOY. And I'd be glad to help. There's so much that we can do. And not only do we get at a lot of the underlying causes, in fact, I feel like it's all of them, but we get at the inherited effects too. So the body code is probably the most advanced. I think it's the most advanced healing system in the world, although I haven't experimented with all of them, so I don't know. But it's pretty amazing, and it can we can have drastic turnarounds. Not necessarily really quickly if you're dealing with a lot of depression and lifelong depression, but certainly life can kind of goes up like this, yeah, and gets better and better for the most part. So. But yes, thank you, Suzanne, for your encouragement. I appreciate it. And you keep up your good work as well. I'm looking forward to reconnecting with you soon. So anyways, thank you for watching my video, and I hope to hear from you, and let me know if you know anybody that needs my services, please pass this along. Thank you, and take care. Have a great evening.